Hey there, ladies and gentle boys, Passy Dragon here, K Syndromes, and welcome to a slightly different episode. It's really early in the morning, and I decided to take you on the ride for a moment. So let's talk about cars for a moment. Can't really say I've ever been a car guy, so to speak. I grew up in Riga, that's the capital of Latvia. And the one thing about these post-Soviet countries is that nobody built these things with cars and, car movement in mind. So when I was born, getting a driver's license was not really a big deal. No one really tried to get it simply because there was nowhere to put your cars. If you go into Google Street View and teleport yourself to Latvia or any other post-Soviet country, you'll probably notice that what we essentially have as micro cul-de-sacs, so to speak, they were never really meant for vehicles. And such, a car, well, it wasn't really something, considered as not a luxury item. It wasn't really something everyone was striving for. If anything, most people that I knew of my then age were more interested in getting a scooter or a motorcycle or something a little bit more compact than that. So for me, cars has never really been a big deal. Until recently. Relatively recently. So when I moved out of my parents' house, one thing that happened is that even though I moved to essentially the countryside, that one particular aspect of my life did not change. I was still pretty much homebound in the sense that I earned my living from home. I work from home, so when the whole pandemic hit and people started working from home, I could just sit there and go like, haha, welcome to my world, right? And essentially what happened is that I was introduced to cars a little bit later in life when I wanted to, or rather I had to, start running as a backup driver for my family. Essentially what happened is I got my driver's license, or rather my driver's license permit, and the thing about that particular document here in the European land is that apart from being able to be schooled by a certified instructor, you can be taught by anyone who has at least 3 years of driver's experience. And since obviously my father qualified for that, what happened is that I would, take these trips with him, swap out, and as long as he was sitting by my side, I could easily drive a vehicle. So even though I did not have a proper driver's license, I was still the backup driver. And that changed pretty recently. As you probably already could tell by that, some of my latest uploads were related to, cars and ice lakes and what I can generously call racing. This prompted me that, well, maybe there's something about these, car things, and I should probably do something about it. So what ended up happening is I finally bought my first actual vehicle. Obviously, I also got my driver's license. Passed it pretty easily, by the way, since, even without an actual driver's license, I still had, pretty substantial amount of experience. And, yeah, I've been driving around ever since, and that's one of the reasons why you're probably not seeing as much uploads from me, simply because I'm wasting a lot of my free time just driving around. Waterfowl. And yeah, that's currently the whole state of things. One of my short-term goals right now in terms of, channel stuff is probably to, well, first of all, should probably get my finger out of the objective, but one of the things is to find a roadworthy kind of winter beater that I could go and take on the track. And Yeah. Oh, if you were wondering, the first car that I actually got, and there's an interesting thing about this car. So, this is a 2001 Audi C5 All-Road. And I've heard so many bad things about this vehicle. Some of them justified, some of them less so. But one of the good things about this particular vehicle is that it's not the 2.5 turbo diesel, but rather it is the 2.7 liter bi-turbo gas engine. And that is one of the immediate saving graces for this vehicle. The idea was that you probably saw that Audi TT Roadster that we kind of turned into ice buggy. We were going to place these huge studded tires on it. It turned out that even though the 1.8 liter engine was, capable enough, it does not generate enough torque to actually sustain these tires. So we started looking for a alternative vehicle that we could actually use in that situation. And this is where this car came in. This thing was supposed to join the TT on the ice track. See, the only thing is that after driving around a little bit, I realized that this was actually an amazing vehicle. And I would really, really like this thing as my, personal car, my daily driver. And, well, that's actually what happened. Now, of course, there's a lot of things about this vehicle that I wouldn't say irk me, but rather it's something you expect from a 21-year-old car. It needs a lot of maintenance, at least it needs a lot of work, and that's one of the things that you're probably going to hear about these all roads, that there's a lot of troublesome things about it. One of them is the fact that this thing has, one of the gimmicks of this vehicle is that it has its pneumatic suspension. And if that thing goes wrong, everything goes wrong. Because if those balloons, if you want to call them that way, if those balloons fail, your car sags onto the frame. And the thing is, you cannot move that vehicle. You cannot drive to a shop in that state. You have to call a repo. And, well, I don't know if repo is the right word. Basically, you just need to get a trailer and actually get it on the trailer and just drive it anywhere, because the moment you start moving this thing without its pneumatic suspension active, you're going to start actively damaging it. But yeah, that is my first car. I'm pretty freaking proud of it. And yeah, the 2.7 bi-turbo engine is actually kind of famous, maybe, if you want to call it that way. It's also kind of rare, so yeah. But yeah, that is my current situation. Right now it's like 6 in the morning. I decided to, go out and drive around a little bit. And as you can tell, well, I was bored enough to actually get my GoPro out. So expect a little bit more car-related things from me, I guess. I suppose my, overall introduction to vehicles was mostly through video games, Need for Speed Underground, for example. And I would be lying if I didn't tell you that, yes, I did actually start looking up stuff like, body kits for this thing. And funnily enough, considering this vehicle has its, ride adjustability thing going on, it looks like the Audi Allroad club, if you want to call it that way, is split two ways between people who like to slam it down to the ground and make it into basically a stance car, as many people do many cars, or they want to go the exact opposite. They want to put a lift kit on it and turn it into basically a 4Runner clone. The only problem is that I personally think that the latter is a little bit more interesting to look at. At the same time, my country is not known for mountainous roads or mountains in general. if anything, if I'm not mistaken, our highest peak is like 400 meters or something. It's something very, very small. So, not really a lot of tracks for that. And I don't really think I would like to go into like actual proper off-roading in a pneumatic suspension. But yeah, that is my current update. I've been missing a lot, video game related stuff, but I think that with my, eyesight going as bad as needed a new pair of glasses in the last 3 years, like twice. I've been trying to find reasons not to stick around the computer screen. The problem is that I do that enough in my day job. Even something about something along the lines of reading books, for example, is going to be problematic simply because I want to do that with, while resting my eyes. So audiobooks in that case is one of the things that I have picked up relatively recently. And I guess driving is going to be the second one. Taking a small break from video games. I'm probably going to be back as soon as, say, Avorion decides to release its update again. Something worth looking into again. And, yeah, currently on the hunt on another beater vehicle to get ready for the next winter season. I was introduced to this at the very, very end of the previous season. You probably, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be like February maybe, when we started uploading those videos. And yeah, that is in fact the current situation. I do miss you guys. I hope you guys are having fun without me for the moment. YouTube is obviously complaining like, oh, your view count is going down. I was like, well, it is what it is. Well, yeah, time to go. It is a beautiful day outside. It's a very beautiful morning outside. And I hope it is the same for you. All right. Cheers, boys.